Hello, and welcome to this session where we're going to be talking about rich notifications. My name is Johan Olsson. I work at Samsung Design America here in San Francisco. I'm a software prototyping engineer, and I'm going to be speaking about the user experience for rich notifications. And once I'm done with that, Samir Sahu from Samsung's Advanced Convergence Labs will come on stage and walk you through the Rich Notifications SDK and give you some tips for development with rich notifications. After that, we'll give you a brief demo of what the rich notifications look like. All right, so let's get started. First off, the Rich Notification SDK is an SDK for Android. So it's a way for you to send notifications from your Android phones to the Gear S. And the Gear S, which is Samsung's latest wearable, it has applications, widgets, and notifications. And as you can see, these notifications are first-class citizens on the Gear S. So they're easily available and quickly available from the home screen, just one swipe away. Your notifications are going to be grouped by application, and they're going to be ordered chronologically with the most recent one closest to the home screen. So when we started developing this Rich Notifications SDK, we had basically two goals in mind. First off, we wanted to give you, the developers, another way to reach your users on Gear S. Before Rich Notifications, you had to create a Tyson application that runs on the phone. And you probably still want to do this. This is the best way to give your users a rich and deep experience. But with the Rich Notifications SDK, you get a very, very quick way to get your content onto the Gear S. And the second goal that we had was to give you, the developers, control over what your content looks like. So we wanted to give you ways to customize your rich notifications. So some of the design principles that we had in mind when we designed the rich notifications, and that you should probably also think about when you design your rich notifications, we had three major ones. The first one, the rich notifications should be glanceable. That means that a user should quickly be able to decide if they need to interact with this notification. Second, rich notifications should be actionable. They should bring some sort of value to the user, and being able to take an action on your notifications is a great way of doing that. And third, we wanted them to feel delightful. And this translated into us trying to give you guys some customization options. And before we talk more about those customization options, I just wanted to mention that if you already have an Android application and it is pushing standard Android notifications, those will be sent to the Gear S as well. But the drawback is that you won't have any control over what they will look like on the Gear S, and they won't have any actions. But the Rich Notifications SDK gives you this. So you will get the ability to add actions. You will have text formatting options. And we supply templates for you so that you can lay out your content in a way that you feel is best. So let's look at each of these in a bit more detail from a user experience point of view. First off, let's talk about actions. So there's what we call a primary action, and we also have secondary actions. But the primary action, that's the most common or most important action that is associated to the notification that you are pushing. So as an example, or two examples here, on the top we have a notification of a missed call. So the most common or most appropriate action for that would be to call back that person. So that's your primary action in that case. In the second example, we have some type of messaging notification, and the most common or most important action for that would be to be able to reply to that message. So when you guys create your rich notifications, think about which actions are the most important ones and choose one and make that your primary actions. The other ones, you'll be able to access in the secondary actions. You see the little icon with the three little dots? That's the overflow menu. When you press that one, you get a list of your secondary actions. So you can supply quite a lot of actions here if you would like, but we recommend to keeping it to 1 to 3 extra actions for your content, maybe maximum 5. More than that, it kind of tends to overwhelm the user. So now that we've talked a little bit about the actions, let's look at what kind of text styling options you guys have. So we support some simple yet powerful HTML tagging for strings. So any data element on rich notifications that takes strings, you can actually style with these 4 HTML tags. So italic, bolding, or font color, and line break to control the text flow in your rich notifications. And the last thing is we're going to talk about the templates. But before we get into the different types of templates, let's look at some of the components, most common components in a template. So you have an application icon. You guys supply this. This should be from your service. And then there's a title. With these 2 elements, it should be pretty clear to the user what your notification is trying to convey. So in this case, you look at the icon, you see it's some sort of messaging, you see the title, it's a name, it's pretty obvious that it's some sort of message from a person. Next, a lot of our templates have subheaders. This is optional, by the way. If you don't want to use the subheader, you don't have to. But the subheader is a way for you to give some more context to your rich notifications. So in this case, if it's a message, it's the subject of that message. Then we have the body. This is where you put the meat of the content for your notification. And then we have the primary and the secondary actions that we already talked about. So there are 2 template types, primary templates and secondary templates. The primary template is required for a rich notification. You need to have a primary template. This is the most important one, and this is the one that you should try and make glanceable. It should quickly give the user information about what this is about so that they can make a decision on if they want to interact further with this. The secondary template, it's optional, but it's a great way for you to give additional information about your notifications. So Samir, who's going to be up on stage here after me, he's going to go into a bit more detail about the different templates. But here's a few examples, and I just wanted to mention that one of the templates, it's called the QR template. It's the one that's showing a QR code here. Now, it doesn't have to show a QR code. It could be any image. So be creative and try and use these in ways that we haven't intended them to be used, so that they fit what you try to do. Currently, we have 2 secondary templates. And the major difference between these 2 is that one of them makes it quite easy to list content. Now, you can mix and match the primary and secondary templates any which way you want. Okay, so to summarize this part about the UX, try and make your notifications glanceable so that the user can quickly decide if they want to interact with them and maybe take an action on your notification. Think about your actions. What is the most important one? Make that your primary action. And lastly, remember the different customization options that you have available. So now Samir will come on stage and take you through the technical part of the rich notifications.
Thanks, Johan. That's
Thank
a
you.
wonderful introduction to rich notification.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. A very good afternoon to you. I'm Samir Sahu. I'm working for Samsung Electronics, South Korea. As Johan told you the features of rich notification, what I'll be telling you is a quick snapshot and the APIs for the packages and the open APIs, the way to create rich notification, and some developer tips. And at the end, we will show you the demo with the real devices. So let's get started. So before going into the details of packages and APIs, I thought let's run over the outline of the architecture for better understanding. So we had the host, which may be a smartphone, and we had the gear. We have the notification manager service running in the gear, and we have the gear manager service, which is running over the phone. So the gear manager service and the notification manager service, they talk to each other through the Samsung Accessory Framework Protocol, which we call as SAP. So the developers can build the application and import the rich notification library to connect and talk to the gear manager service. Let's see the prerequisites to use the rich notification SDK. The first prerequisite is to import the libraries, which is the rich notification library, the SDK library, which is the client library for using the Samsung SDK, and the JSON library. Second is to use the SRN, the Samsung rich notification library, you have to include 2 permissions, the enable notification and write use app feature survey. Otherwise, you'll get a security exception. The third prerequisite is you have to initialize the SRN class. This initialization means it checks whether the device is a Samsung device, whether the supported Samsung device supports this package or not. Else you will get the SDK unsupported exception. So we saw the architecture and the prerequisites. Let's get started with how to create a simple application and what are the user scenarios. Okay, this is a snapshot of the important packages and the key classes. For complete set of packages, classes, and enums, you can refer the link here. I will go through some of the important classes, and we'll see how we can use these classes in writing a simple code and how quickly we can develop beautiful and glanceable notifications. So we have a rich notification package, the template package, and the action package. I'll quickly go over these packages and see how we can use them effectively. So this is the first package, the rich notification package. The main classes in this package is the notification manager, the rich notification, and the SRN class. Now the rich notification manager helps in communication between the application code and the service, whereas the rich notification actually represents an actionable rich notification. And the SRN class is the entry class or the access to the package. We'll see how we are using these packages and classes in writing the user scenarios. I'll be discussing two user scenarios. One, how to send a notification. Second is how to update a notification. So the first scenario which I'll be discussing is sending a notification. So first thing you have to do is you have to create the rich notification manager. This is the class which I discussed. And the second is you have to start this manager. The third is use the SRN rich notification class to create the notification. And in this, when you start creating a notification, what you do is you start setting the title, template, you can add actions, as Johan said, and it's your world. You can do anything here. You can do different types of glanceable UI and add different types of actions in this part. And then you send the notifications using rich notification manager, which will actually notify to the gear manager service, which will finally get delivered to the gear on the SAP protocol. Now, one important point here. So when you send a notification using notify, this function call will return a UUID, a unique ID. Now you must be wondering why it is important. Okay, I sent a notification. The next time if I want to refer to that notification or update, then I might need to use this UUID. So what I would suggest is you take the UUID and store it in a persistent storage so that once your phone reboots or your gear reboots, you still have that UUID so that you can later on refer. Next, we will see the updating a rich notification. So as I said, when you update a rich notification, that is you have already sent a notification, you want to update it, then you use this UUID, you retrieve the UUID, use this class for updating and create the class with the UUID, notification ID, and you can change any feature of that notification and then send. Next, I will tell you about the package. The second package is the template package. I think this is the most powerful and important package in my point of view, because here we are giving the developers the option to create their own personalized and customized glanceable UI. Here you can play around with the look and feel of the rich notification as per your user scenario. So as Johan said that templates, he explained about the primary and secondary templates. I will tell you the classes, and I will also discuss the user scenarios and how you can use these classes to create different templates. Okay, so for example, you want to create an application where your rich notification has more text and little images or no images, something like this. So you use this class, and how to use this class and how to write this application in a couple of lines of code will come next. Second, you have a use case where you use moderate text. So something like this. You use standard template with medium header size. You have a notification where image is a priority. So you use like this. You use SRN standard template with full screen size. And you have no text in the something like this. Then use large header template. And for QR, you can use SRN QR template class. It's the same for secondary. Like you have a paragraph text, as Johan has already shown a similar image. You can use standard secondary template. And if you have a listed thing, listed text, then you can use a secondary, sorry, I think there's a mistake. This is not QR secondary, this is the standard listed secondary template class. So here's the code. So if you want to get a rich notification, something like this, then all you have to do is use the standard template with header size medium and set the associated content. And then all you have to do is, with your rich notification, call the API set primary template and send the notification. It is that easy. Similar for secondary template. You use the standard secondary template and you write the code associated content, and again you use set secondary template. The third and the important package is the actions. So what do you want? You want your notifications to be glanceable, but again at the same time you want it to be more functional, and you can add actions to it. Currently we are supporting 4 types of actions. One is the host action, which will launch the application or perform the action on your host device. Second is the built-in action, where the built-in action is performed on the wearable or the Gear S. The third is the remote launch action, which will launch the application on the wearable. And the last one is the remote input action, which allows the user to input. We'll see the user scenarios. So when do you use the SRN host action? Is like when you want to use so on device, then you use this class. This will be handled by the Android app on the host device. If you're driving a car and if you want to launch the GPS application, then you use remote launch action, which will launch this application on the device, Gear device. If you want remote built-in action like calling or SMS, you can use remote built-in action class, which will be handled on the wearable device. The last one is if you want to input any of the messages directly on the Gear S, then use this class. This is the simple code snippet where you can easily add actions to your already done notifications, like the host action and then the associated content and the callback intent. The same goes for the remote launch action and the built-in action, remote input action. All you have to do is you have to call the right class and you have to set the contents and the right callback intent. Okay, so till now I told you about the templates and the user scenarios and code snippets, how to use those templates, and the same for actions. I will be speaking about 2 more APIs which are important in terms of developing an application using the rich notification SDK. The first one is the set associated Android notification. For example, you want to treat Android notification and rich notification at the same time. For example, in cases of sync, then you use this API. And how do you associate your Android notification to the rich notification? This is how you associate. You already have built an Android notification using Android Notification Manager, then you just associate using this API. The second important API is the set route condition. What happens is the rich notification service will automatically prevent the Android notifications to sending to the connected peripherals. So if you want to send your Android notification through rich notification, then use this set route condition. Now I'll be telling about a couple of developer tips which might be important when you develop the application using this SDK. First, as I already told you, it's better to store the notification's unique ID in persistent data store, because as per my experience, we have written a sample application. This is the most important thing. I use a database to store this notification UUID, and most of the times, most of the use cases, I wrote retrieving this UUID and then referring to the previously sent notification. The second one is if you want to check the connection of the wearable device, use isConnected. One thing which most of the developers face problem is the application is perfectly written, it's connected, the Gear S is connected to the phone, but sometimes you don't see the notifications. That is because the Gear Manager has an option of limit notifications. So when you install that APK on your device and when you start testing your application, make sure that this is unchecked. We can show that in our demo. Johan will show that this option, you can make sure that it has to be unchecked. Set route condition and set associated API cannot be used for the same single notification. And once you have developed a rich notification application, if you want that application to publish in the market, then use Gear rich notifications in the description field as tag. Now me and Johan will show you the user scenario, the demo on the real devices. We have developed a small sample application, and we will show you how the rich notification looks on Gear S. First, Johan will show the Samsung Gear, the limit notification option, which has to be unchecked once you have developed and you want to test your application.
So okay, it's a little bit
Johan, can you
to see here.
decrease the brightness of the screen?
Yeah, let's see here.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay, so you go into notifications, limit notification. This option has to be unchecked.
Because if that option is checked and you are looking at your phone, the notifications won't be sent to the Gear S.
Okay, so we launched the sample application. We have implemented 3 types of different templates, and we will be sending the notification. So first we will send a medium header template, and we'll send the notification to Gear S.
So we can see we got notified. I swipe over. This is the notification panel. If you have a lot of notifications, this is a way to quickly get to them if you don't want to swipe over. If you swipe over, you have the notification here. And this is your primary template. If I tap on this, it will open up, and you can see the full template.
Here we have added the host action as the action, as the primary action here. That is the YouTube button, which is not, the image is not very clear. So if you click the YouTube button there, so the YouTube is launched on your phone, which is with a single click. So that's the host action.
And it's very easy to dismiss your notifications when you're done with them. Just press dismiss all, and we have no notifications. So the next notification that we're going to send in is one with a large header.
Right.
See, we get notified that there's a new rich notification. I swipe over. If I can either swipe over again to get to it, or I can just tap here. And here we have it. Tap to open up and see more details.
Here we have added calling, the remote built-in action as the primary action here. So just tap to call. And the last one is the full header. This is where the image is a priority, and you can, the action we have included as comment, you can have the remote input where you can directly input the comments here.
Yeah, and just another quick note is that this notification only has a primary template. So it doesn't have the secondary template that the other two had. So I tap the comments one, I get the keyboard, I write some comment, nice, and send it, and you can see that it's being sent back to the phone as well. So if you want to do something with that input, you can.
Okay, that is very much it with the demonstration. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, me and Johan will take it. Okay, thank you. Yes. Sorry? Yes.
Yeah, from the SDK, you as a developer can, there's an API called dismiss, I believe, or dismiss all, and it will dismiss all the notifications that you have sent. So do you mean what version of Android or which Samsung phones you can use? Samsung phones. Do you know that?
Yeah, the ones which can connect to the Samsung phones will work, the SRN package will work with it. So all the gear which is working with the Samsung phones, it will work. Any phone which supports the gear, which supports connectivity with the gear, which has the capability to download the gear manager, it will support. You mean the devices, right? Sorry? Tablets?
I'm not sure, but I would guess that if there are tablets that support the gear manager, those would also support rich notifications.
Yes. Basically, for using the rich notification, you have to have the gear manager, because initially in the architecture, I said that we use the gear manager to communicate. So if the tablet is able to download the gear manager, then yes. Yes.
So if you have an Android notification that you've added actions to, those actions won't be transferred. Yes, yes. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.